So with lower back pain and sacrum pain, it can be that the sacrum has become slightly misaligned. If that is the case, we really do need an osteopathic adjustment or a physio adjustment. But what we can do is just try and relieve a little bit of the instability and the pain by doing some easy-ish exercises at home. I would suggest you keep your knees together, your thighs together as much as possible, so we avoid asymmetrical movement through the pelvis. And if you've got a brick, that's ideal, a yoga brick. Otherwise, you could use a book or a couple of books just bound together, or even just a tightly rolled up towel, so that you have something that's solid to put between your legs and underneath your pelvis. So start by taking your brick underneath your sacrum, so across the sacrum, so horizontally across the sacrum, and this just relieves the lower back. It lets gravity soften the psoas muscles that insert into the lower back. If you are okay to come up onto the higher side, if that doesn't aggravate things, then that just obviously gives gravity a bit more work there. It makes the muscles release even more. So spending about a minute where the pelvis is resting on something and you can consciously relax the muscles around the pelvis, but the sacrum is nice and secure. So you want to breathe in this position and time it for about a minute, and you accentuate the exhalation, so we go consciously into that parasympathetic nervous system. So breathing in, filling the lungs right underneath the armpits into the back of the lungs, and then long breath out. Pausing in that bit at the end of the exhalation, just staying at the end of the exhalation until the next breath comes in. So when we're in pain, brain can fixate on the pain, and obviously we get into that tension pain cycle. So you want to break that to start off with, and the key way to break it is to tell your brain that you are safe, and you do that with your breath. You extend the exhalation. The Brahmacharya breath, the buzzy bee breath, is a really nice way to do that even faster. So it's just a humming bee breath out like this. And you try and direct the breath down to the area of pain. So just continue doing that buzzy bee breath. So once you've done this for about a minute, and like I said before, don't worry about being on the high side if that's at all agitating, just be on the low side of your brick. Press both heels into the ground, slowly roll down, so you have that nice even roll down through the sacrum. Place your brick between your knees, and you want to have the brick on the mid side, so you squeeze your thighs into the brick, so we start to stimulate and activate the inner thigh muscles, and then just bring your knees into your chest. So you're squeezing in as you bring the brick towards your chest. Now we are activating these stabilizing muscles that go into the pelvic bowl, and we also get a bit of a stretch out through the lower back. So see if you can just draw your knees, and you want to stay here, same long smooth breath, you want to stay here for about a minute. So once again, just timing. A minute to stretch, a minute to contract, and once you've done a minute, you come back to the first position, just resting here again. You take your hands on your lower belly just to emphasize the breath coming into your lower belly. So you want to stay here for another minute and go back to the contraction between your legs for another minute. So we do 3 minutes here and 3 minutes where we squeeze the inner thigh muscles. Try to finish with this, relaxing on the brick, and then coming off the brick and using your exhalation to slightly tilt. So we're doing cat and cow. Slightly tilt, flattening the lower belly and pressing through the heels so our glutes activate too. So the gluteal muscles wrap around the sacrum, they stabilize the sacrum. So if there's instability there, this can help. And then relax the glutes, get a little arch, just a natural arch through the lower back. So we exhale, we draw in through the pelvic floor, we have a little bit of pressure through the heels. We're not pushing all the way up, we're just doing a little tilt here and relax again. So we're kind of massaging over the sacrum, over the lower back, but we're also stimulating the gluteal muscles that stabilize the pelvis. So just gentle rocks here, really emphasizing the long exhalation, soften, inhale. Long exhalation to tilt, soften, inhale. So this one can help as well. Now, the next one is if your sacrum has become slightly misaligned, you can do a test to work out which side of the pelvis has been lifted. This can help. It can also aggravate. So just be very, very mindful. Taking one knee into the chest and lengthening out the other side. So you're basically pulling this femur out of the pelvis. You're trying to stretch the psoas muscles here. You're trying to get the sacrum to tilt a little bit more in this direction. So stretching out there, at the same time you're pulling this side of the hip upwards. So if we were misaligned and the left, so this is my left hip here, the left hip was lifted up, we want to then drop it down again. So we'd be doing the stretch twice as much on this side as we are on the other side. So the side that feels like it's tilted up, we want to then draw it down. So if you had a partner that could just grab hold of your ankle and just gently traction the leg down, that can be helpful. And maybe even taking the arm above the head as well, so we get that full body traction. And try it on the other side, and hopefully you'll just kind of feel which side feels like it needs this most. So same thing, if you've got somebody who can just very gently traction your leg out, grab hold of your ankle and just pull it so that we tilt the pelvis in the other direction. And then come back into the center and just see if you can intuit which side of the pelvis has been pulled out of alignment, and go back to the side that you feel needs to be dropped, and do another one of these on that side. So we do twice as many on the side that is lifted, and we drop it now, then the other side. And the other thing I would suggest is using a support. So I've got this is actually a belt I used when I had pubic symphysis diastasis. So this kind of thing is so helpful. It just wraps around your sacrum. So it supports onto the sacrum across the bum, so it supports onto the sacrum and across the pubic bone at the front. And it just allows a sense of stability around the pelvis, which can help you also be a bit more aware of your deep corsatory muscles here, and just kind of stabilize the pelvis a little bit more, as well as the lower back. So this kind of thing can be really useful if you are feeling agitated, just to keep you in alignment. And it'll mean that when you're walking, you're just you're close together with your legs, so you're not misaligning the sacrum so much. So that might also help.